like we're on the losing end of this. It's because we're walking straight into something I call the embarrassment trap. And get this, our own natural instincts are what spring it.
You know the moment someone tries to embarrass you. Maybe it's at work, in a group chat, or even at a family dinner, and suddenly all eyes are on you, waiting to see what you'll do. Well, let's get into this, because the way we've all been taught to respond, it's actually been setting us up to lose. And we're going to change that, starting right now.
Just think about your moment for a second. We've all got one. That sudden, sharp sting when someone puts you on the spot. It's that awful replaying it in your head at 3 a.m. kind of moment where you keep wondering what you should have said.
The first thing that happens is physical, right? Boom, your heart just drops into your stomach. It feels like the floor just vanished from under your feet.
And then, the heat. That rush of blood to your face that feels like a giant neon sign you just can't turn off. You're convinced everyone can see you turning bright red.
And right when you need it the most, your brain just hits the eject button. You wanted that perfect, witty comeback, but nothing. Or even worse, something clumsy tumbles out and you regret it instantly.
So why does it always feel like
That rush of blood to your face that feels like a giant neon sign you just can't turn off. You're convinced everyone can see you turning bright red.
And right when you need it the most, your brain just hits the eject button. You wanted that perfect, witty comeback, but nothing. Or even worse, something clumsy tumbles out and you regret it instantly.
So why does it always feel like we're on the losing end of this? It's because we're walking straight into something I call the embarrassment trap. And get this, our own natural instincts are what spring it shut. And here it is, the single biggest mistake we all make. The second someone says something sharp, we react. We get defensive, we nervously laugh, we lash out. We're reacting based on pure emotion, panic, anger, hurt, and none of those are going to help you win.
Think about it like a grease fire in the kitchen. The insult, that's the initial flame. Your gut instinct is to douse it with water, right? Well, that's your emotional reaction. But what happens when you throw water on a grease fire? It doesn't put it out, it creates a massive explosion. The whole situation just got way bigger and a lot more messy because you did the most predictable thing.
This is absolutely crucial to understand. The moment you react, the crowd's focus completely shifts. They pretty much forget who started it. They're not watching the person who lit the match anymore, they're watching the person who's on fire. They're just waiting to see who's gonna lose their cool first. Your only job in that moment is to make sure it's not you.
So, how do you avoid that trap? How do you flip the script? It takes a massive shift in how you see the entire situation. This is where you take all the power back, not by fighting, but by understanding what's really going on. Just let that sink in for a minute. Embarrassment is almost never about your flaw. It's almost always an attack coming from someone who, deep down, is quietly intimidated by you. Once you really, truly get that, everything changes.
This completely reframes the whole thing, doesn't it? The person who tried to make you look bad isn't some powerful villain. They're more like a scared kid in a classroom, knocking over your Lego tower just to get the teacher to look at them. They do it because your light makes them feel like they're in the shadows.
Let's just break it down. Their goal, what they want to do, is to make you look small. But their motivation, the deep down reason they're doing it, it's because they feel small. They're trying to fix their own insecurity by chipping away at you. That's their problem, not yours.
Okay, so we get the psychology now. That's the why. But what about the how? What do you actually do in that split second? Let's get into the practical, unbeatable response that just completely disarms them.
This is it, the single most powerful thing you can do. Before you say a single word, before your expression even changes, just pause. Take one deep breath. 2 seconds, 3 seconds, just long enough for your rational brain to catch up with your racing heart. You're telling yourself, we are not reacting out of fear. And this is why that pause is so important. Calm isn't weakness, it's not surrender, it is the ultimate display of power in a chaotic moment. Think about the people you admire under pressure. They don't flinch. They've trained themselves not to perform their pain in public. And that is the skill you're building right here. Now, you might think you need some brilliant, witty comeback. You don't. The smartest move is actually to say far less than they're expecting, because that intentional silence you just created, it isn't empty space. It's weight. It puts all the pressure right back on them and denies them the one thing they wanted, your reaction.
Of course, sometimes you do have to say something. The key is to keep it short, calm, and completely clear. No emotion. Something like, interesting, we can come back to that. And then, you just move on. You're not ignoring them.
You're showing them that their attack had zero effect. You're communicating total control. So those tactics work wonders in the moment. But the real long-term goal? It's to become genuinely untouchable. And that requires building a foundation inside yourself that's so solid, their words just slide right off.
And you have to ask yourself, honestly, why does it sting in the first place? An insult only lands if it hits a soft spot, right? An insecurity that was maybe already there. A little voice in your head that worries they might be right. So the long game is pretty simple. We have to close that door for good.
And you close that door not by just thinking about it, but by taking action. Every single one of these items is like a brick in your foundation. Every time you finish what you started or build that skill, you're not just doing a task, you're collecting evidence. You're building proof of who you really are, one decision at a time.
See, that's the kind of confidence that holds up under pressure. It's earned. So the next time someone tries to throw a little pebble at you, it doesn't hit something soft and tender anymore. It just bounces right off something solid that you built yourself.
And I really want you to let this one sink in. That embarrassing moment, it does not define you. Your real power is in what you choose to do next, in the actions you take to build yourself up when no one is watching. That is who you are.
So it really all comes down to this one last crucial question. You don't owe everyone a reaction. Your energy, your focus, your composure, that stuff is valuable. So who's actually earned it? The insecure person trying to tear you down or the person you're trying to build? The choice is